The film starts off with a masked-up couple attempting to steal from a convenience store. They seem as amateurs as they can't open the cash machine. They scan something making it open, so they steal the money and GTFO out of there. The couple escape in their car and we see their faces. The girl is called Jules and the guy is called Mickey. They both celebrate about the successful robbery and both get excited. Jules starts feeling steamy and wants to get fun, however Mickey says we can't as they need to get to a gas station. Jules then decides to take in another fluid, however the car ends up already draining before Mickey does. They stop and Jules asks why they stopped and Mickey explains they ran out of gas. Jules explains it's fine, they can walk, however Mickey gets stressed and explains to her that they haven't got far away from the cops and are stuck. He gets out the car stressed out and Jules gets down and tells him to relax. She sits on him and calms him down, telling him she loves him, making him more chill. She looks up and points at a letterbox showing there is a house there. They look inside the garage and find a car and plan to steal it. They try to break in, however the door doesn't open, so they break the door instead. They go inside and look around to try and find the keys for the car. They split up and Mickey looks around in an office. While searching, he finds a camera, however. He throws it behind him, but turns on showing a couple being kidnapped and recorded, however he misses it. They sit after having no luck trying to find the keys and struggle to think of a plan. So, they have a genius idea to take some drugs. Mickey takes some and has an idea to get a hose and steal the homeowners' gas by getting a hose and filling up their own car so they can get to the nearest gas station. Jules gets excited and calls him smart and wants to get steamy, however he tells her we gotta make a move as they haven't got time. They go in the basement and look around and find a flashlight. He looks around and Jules frightens him while she is on a tricycle. She tells him to leave because there is nothing there. While they are about to leave, they see a young girl looking very innocent chained up by her feet. Jules tries talking to the girl, however Mickey says, let's just get out of here as it's not their problem. Jules gets annoyed and convinces him and says we can't leave her, so he hatches a plan to get a knife to cut through the pole she is chained up to. While looking for a knife, the homeowners arrived. They are an old couple called George and Gloria. Mickey points a gun at them and George says take what they want and they can be on their way, however they don't want anything in question why they have a girl chained downstairs. George tries playing it cool and says that's their girl, but she been misbehaving, so that's the way they punish her. Bonnie and Clyde aren't having it and say they are taking the girl and will leave. George says let's have a drink and talk about it. They sit down and George explains that by his judgment he explains that he can tell they are in trouble and basically says if you take my car, I don't have to report it, however if they take the car and the girl then they will have to report it to the police. Mickey gets excited, however he looks at Jules and knows he can't leave without the girl, so he points the gun and says he isn't going to leave without the little girl, so he tells them to get the keys. George unlocks the girl's chain, however the girl seems to not want to go and stays standing. Mickey tries to convince the girl to come, however she just stays silent. He puts his hands on her, but she bites him and George knocks him out. Mickey wakes up chained and hears Gloria and telling him to relax, but this angers him. Meanwhile, Jules is downstairs tied up next to the girl, getting angry for biting Mickey, however she gets no response. Gloria comes inside, begins dancing, and puts on a show and gets close to him, however Mickey stays silent and gets angry, saying he doesn't like her. She strangles and says she can kill him now, but instead stops and walks away. The next day, Gloria shows Mickey pictures and talks about how she met George and how they ran away together. While talking, he sees a dead body in the picture, getting him low-key creeped out. He starts talking to her and begins to seduce her. She gets intimate with him and Gloria undoes his cuffs. He grabs her head and throws her away and escapes. He gets to the door, however George shoots next to him and threats him to come closer. George points a gun and while talking, Gloria begins crying. George explains he is upset with him on how he treats women, so he shoots Mickey in the foot and tells him to stop complaining. He brings Mickey down to Jules and threats to shoot her if she carries on yapping away. Meanwhile, their car is getting towed. They sit and talk, however Mickey has an idea to pick the lock using Jules' tongue piercing. Jules says they're going to hurt and can't do it, however just for Mickey she agrees. She tries but can't, so Mickey pulls it out with his own mouth. Just after this happens, George comes in trying to offer food, but they refuse and stay silent until he leaves. He uses the metal piercing and undoes Jules' cuffs, however, while she tries to do Mickey's cuffs. She breaks the metal. This makes Jules cry and Mickey comforts her. The girl points to a laundry chute and Jules climbs up it. She arrives in a baby's room and finds a doll, making her nervous. George smacks up Mickey and Jules hides from Gloria. George threats him and tries to get information on Jules' whereabouts but denies where she is. George is just about to cut his ear off, however, Mickey says, "I told her." He is going to meet her at a spot in 1 hour. If he meets her, she won't call the cops and they will leave. However, if he doesn't get freed, then she will call the cops on him. George goes back and thinks about what he should do. He asks about what Mickey will do with the girl, and he says he doesn't care about her, wants to leave. Gloria holds the baby and looks into the closet where Jules is hiding and is about to find her. However, she gets called downstairs by George. George tells Mickey to leave, and just before Mickey is free, Jules comes to the stairs holding the baby, threatening to let him go. Gloria gets George's gun and tries to shoot at Jules, but she drops the baby by accident. The baby head smashes and George holds both of them at gunpoint. Gloria goes to look at the dolls and begins crying, making George getting fed up with these two. Gloria cooks dinner and George holds Jules and Mickey tied up at the dinner table. Jules asks why do they have a girl chained. George explains Gloria can't have children, so they got a girl. However, Gloria didn't want it as it showed everything she couldn't have. Gloria asked George to kill her instead. However, he couldn't do it, so leaving her in the basement is their compromise. They sit down and eat. However, Jules asks if they are going to kill them. George sits back and explains killing them won't make any sense, so instead they hold them for 2 days, then drop them off somewhere where they will arrest them for the robbery and everyone will be happy. She asks about the girl and George says they will send her to an orphanage, making the couple relaxed. They eat the food, but then Mickey and Jules are shown to be drugged. George then explains that he was lying, and he explains he will let them overdose and then kill them and stage them as junkies, making him laugh. He then explains they must be stupid to let them go. However, the doorbell rings. George opens the door and it's a cop. The cop explains there has been a robbery and asks if they have seen the culprits. However, George explains he hasn't seen anything and says he will keep a lookout. When they finish, George tries to close the door, however can't close it because the door is broken, and it raises the cop's suspicion and asks if he can come and have a look inside. George reluctantly agrees and the cop comes inside. He comes inside and Jules and Mickey are not there anymore. The cop looks around and Gloria explains very quietly that the couple are put anyway in the gym. Jules wakes up high af and sees her bag. The cops go in the basement and Jules goes to her bag. Just before George kills the cop, he gets a call and explains he will have to leave, just missing the girl, so he leaves. Jules finds some more powder and takes some, so she wakes up, and then she wakes up Mickey. George and Gloria go to the gym, but finds Mickey and Jules missing and go after them to try and find them. They leave, however, Mickey and Jules are still hiding in the house. They steal the car keys and make a move. They unlock the girl's chain, however the girl doesn't move. Mickey gets close and apologizes to girl for violating her earlier. He explains he is sorry and she agreed to come. They leave. George gets angry and Gloria, making her upset. He sweet talks her and Gloria explains she wants to forget about all of this, make a fresh start, and so they decide to run away, so they go inside to pack and George notices the car keys are missing. Mickey and Jules get to the car and as soon as the garage door opens, they find George at the door with a gun pointed at them. George tells them to come outside. Mickey and Jules share a moment and Mickey says he loves her and floors the car, knocking George out the way. They stop and Mickey is shot and dies in the driver's seat. George pulls Jules out and almost strangles her, however the girl sees the gun outside. The locks the gun and points it at George. He tries to sweet talk her and tell her come closer, however she shoots him dead. Jules hugs the girl and the girl says she wants to go with her. She goes to Mickey and looks at him one more time, telling him she loves him. Gloria comes outside and finds George on the ground and goes to him, however she doesn't seem affected that he is dead and asks when they are going on an adventure. Jules takes the girl and leaves. They walk down and they picked up by a lady. She asks them where they are headed and Jules says Florida. They get in and leave, then scene shows Jules and the girl together at the beach, living their lives together happily at the beach. Then the film ends them two happily ever after.